not? No? Yeah, I have questions about that. I'll ask you about film theory. That would be good. Because,
Yes, we have film theory.
okay, so I'll ask you about that a little bit. And just feel comfortable. Okay.
Really comfortable. Am I sitting still enough, disembodied voice?
Can you tell me what made you go into the teaching profession?
I'm not sure if I can put it in less than 100 words, but I'll certainly try. Actually, teaching is my second choice of a profession. When I finished my undergrad, I went into sports marketing and PR, and within 5 years quickly realized it was, or somewhat quickly realized, that it just wasn't for me. And really, my mom was the person that told me that I might be a good teacher. I'd been coaching sports for quite a while, and she said, you know, there's a lot of coaching involved in teaching, and I said, okay, well, you're probably right. So I gave her the benefit of the doubt, being my mom, and I went into Michigan State's post-bachelor's program, and from there, it's pretty much history.
Why did you choose English? And is English the major, or is it communications or writing? What is your major, and why did you choose it?
My bachelor's degree is in communication, but when I went back to get my certification, I decided to go into English. And I did that because really the two classes that most influenced me in high school were English and government. The original major as an undergrad for me was poli-sci pre-law. So I'd sort of done the government route and had to make a decision as to whether or not to teach social studies or teach English. But I loved teaching writing. That was really the most influential class I had and the most influential teacher I had in high school. And so I decided if I was going to be a teacher, I think that was the way to really affect lives.
Why was that teacher influential? What characteristics did that teacher have that kind of influenced you in your direction?
Well, Jenny Kohlberg was the most influential teacher to me because she focused on discussion. She brought literature to life, and it was just absolutely incredible to be in her class every single day and to look at this piece of literature like The Scarlet Letter or The Odyssey, things that had absolutely nothing to do with my life in 1980, 81, or 82. And she brought it to light. She brought it home for me. She made it exciting and fun, and my opinion mattered. And so for me, that became important. And I thought, well, that's what I should do if I'm going to do this.
So how do you transfer that to your own students? Is that what you're looking for? Is to motivate them, to make things matter, to make things come alive? Is that what you're looking to do?
Absolutely. I try my best every day to make the classroom come alive, no matter what we're talking about, be it a piece of fiction or nonfiction, or something in social studies, which we deal with in Flex. But every day is important because you matter, and what you do matters. I mean, you can't not get excited about your life, even though you're 15, 16, or 17. You have to understand that you know you're going to make a difference in the world, and you have a choice as to whether or not that difference is going to be positive or negative. And hopefully, I can make a little bit of an influence on you to make you want to make a positive difference in the world. And you do that through literature, through great literature, through being confident in your writing, through really reading up and being a participant in an active citizen in our nation, within our state. Those things really do matter. They do count.
Can you describe a little bit of what you do in Flex?
Again, we're back to that 100-word limit, whether or not I can describe Flex. You know, we say Flex is an interdisciplinary program that combines English and social studies, but I'm not sure that really explains all of it. Flex is interdisciplinary. We do make sure that it's team approached. And so we try to bring in a variety of different views with the sources that we have, be it literature or social studies. And we split kids up into different aspects of education, and we kind of mix it up during the day. It's tough to describe. No, can I just say no, that I can't describe Flex in 100 words or less?
What about film theory?
Film theory, I can describe in 100 words or less. It's a brand new course, and I'm so excited about it. Ever since I got really wanted to teach this course. So I was so happy that I was asked to do so, and that Alan collaborated with me, which was very nice of him. Film theory is a course that looks at the elements of film. What is it about this particular art that we want to study, that we want to know more about? Because those filmmakers do have an influence in the past. Those filmmakers have an influence on what you see today. Again, it's not just entertainment. When you go to the film theaters, you're seeing all kinds of theories. You're seeing all kinds of technical revolutions that have come down since the turn of the century, last century. And so it's important to study those things. Even if you're not going into a career that has to do with film, you can still take a lot from a film theory course. Communications, writing skills. We do a lot with literature. We use the same sort of language, much to the chagrin of my students. We use a lot of literary language in the film theory course. So when you understand those two things, you can really have, boy, words and images are so very powerful, and you've got the marriage of those two things in cinema, and it's just a great thing to study. It's a lot of fun.
How is understanding film in today's contemporary society? Is it something that you think is crucial or essential to understanding our world now? I mean, how it used to be that books and novels, they were the kind of intellectual influence of our society, and that's really shifted, I think, to movies. So what is the role of the movie to a contemporary society?
Well, I do think it's essential that we at least look at film and entertainment with a critical eye. We have so many images, media images coming at us just 24/7, especially kids, much more so than when you and I were young. And even that time period, there was a lot of images coming at you. And if you don't look at it from the perspective of who's doing this, what influenced them, what message are they trying to send me, and then what message are they successful in sending me? And if you don't look at it with that, sort of point of view, then you just become passive. You're just kind of there taking it all in. And sometimes that's great for entertainment, but sometimes there's a lot more going on in the film that really you should be thinking about, and I'm sure the directors and actors would want you to think about. That makes it fun too. I think it makes it more fun.
So do you make a distinction then between, Hollywood is also known for its bombardment of negative media, the stereotypes, these horrible movies, that just kind of glorify either violence or sex or, any kind of aspect. I mean, there's that part of Hollywood, and then there's this part of Hollywood that you seem to be focusing more on. I mean, how do students approach their own lives in using film and in discernment of those two sides? Does that make any sense?
It makes sense. I think, contrary to popular belief, I don't try to show films that I just choose out of the blue, and they have no particular merit. There are some films out there that are supposed to be entertaining. And that's great. They're supposed to make you laugh, or they're particularly romantic or dramatic, and so they're supposed to make you cry. They know very well what they're doing by eliciting those emotions, and that's great. The films that I try to choose for my class have more to do with what theories were involved when the directors chose to do that film. And directors are, of course, very well aware of past theories, past directors that they're trying to emulate. So we study those films, the films that really set up what you're seeing today. And that's the whole process.
Okay, how would you describe like a typical C-Home student? I mean, you've been in the building for several years now. I mean, what do you say are the students' characteristics?
Okay, I know he's rolling, so.
You just met.
Boy, C-Home students to me are, they're terrific in many ways. And I guess I'm hesitant because in the same sense that I see them already being terrific, I see so much potential as well. When I first got hired, I remember Dr. Maloney taking me on a tour of the building, and he was very proud of the fact when he stated that it's a building that's sort of a throwback to the 50s. I think that's fairly close to a quote from him. So he said, we're very proud of this. The students are very involved, and he was telling me all about the building. And as I looked around, I realized it was really true. There were a lot of students who were very involved in what they were doing, be it sports or drama, and they're very studious. And academics mean a great deal, and that's the making of a great school. But sometimes I do look around and I think, wow, there's so much else that can be done. And again, I'll go back to my point about making a difference every single day, not letting those days just pass you by, not looking at your freshman year in anticipation of your senior year so that you can just get out and go to college. No, no, no. Take advantage of the time that you have here, the teachers you have here, the massive amounts of resources that you have here. Then I think we're looking at a well-rounded and whole C-Home student, which can just be an incredible influence outside of C-Home, regardless of what community they're in afterwards.
So are you suggesting, I think you're suggesting then that students need to see that high school is a journey and that the journey is the thing, not necessarily, it's not that diploma in the college that's that is part of the outcome, but it's that there's more of a journey. Is that what you're saying? There's a
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's very well put, obviously. That is what I'd like to tell students, yeah. And what I try to do in classes, and I know that every teacher tries to do that as well here, that the journey is so important. Every day of that journey, what you get out of the journey, and putting things off just because you want to get to college. No, don't do that. Boy, every day is just a gift. And, if you live your life the other way, it's such a drag. This way, it's a lot more fun.
All right. In the years as you continue your teaching career, and as you send your students off into the world to meet different, how would you like your students to think of you? What would you like them, if they were talking, oh, Miss Moten, what would you like them to say?
If my students were talking about me later on, I think I'd like them to say, she was fairly well dressed on Mondays and Tuesdays, but, by Fridays, we all know she was in jeans. I guess I just want them to remember me, somewhat fondly as being someone who cared, and someone who wanted to challenge them every day, even with things that are seemingly not so challenging, but that they got something out of the course beyond what the content was. The content's very important, ultimately the most important thing. But there's a lot of other dynamics in a classroom, and I hope that I can address those dynamics by simply being not just a good teacher, but a good human being as well.
Very good job, Robin. Allie, can you think of anything else?
Disembodied voice.
Okay, I'm ready to start.
Let me tell you about that parent.